Hello, I'm Whalley and I'm back with another photo editing mini-series. In the last series I looked at an example of an image that I'd shot in the Peak District featuring heather and how I'd enhanced that through 4 separate videos. This time I'm looking at another Peak District image because that's near to where I live, this time featuring these millstones that you see. This series we're going to take a look at first off the photo assessment, followed by the conversion from the raw file. After that, we'll look at the photo enhancement and specifically how we convert this to black and white. And after that, we'll have a final video which shows the special effects again. So I'm following my usual 4-step process. So that's assessment, raw conversion, photo enhancement, and special effects. Let's start off by looking at the original image before I made this conversion. The first thing you'll notice about this image is it's overexposed. Now this was a deliberate decision on my part because I like to expose my images to the right. Now because this is a raw image, it means that I capture as much information as possible. When I overexpose, it tends to open up shadow areas like here, which would normally be very dark. The downside to this is it can cause some of these areas up here to blow out slightly. Now in this image I don't mind that because I like this very light area up here with the trees set against it. It sort of draws the eye away from the main part of the image, these stones, and your eye seems to move forwards and backwards through the frame. So the first correction we'll have to make though is to reduce the exposure of the image because it's too bright. Now because it's so bright, the image is also lacking contrast, so we'll have to boost the contrast globally across the image. Now when I shot this, I intended it to be a black and white image, so we'll be making a conversion to black and white. Now that means we'll probably need to intensify some of the colours. We'll need to be careful about the colours in this image because there's a lot of green here, and if we don't get it right we won't create a separation between the stones and the foliage. And that's something we want to do because we want these stones to stand out against the background. Now the other thing that you can see in the image is that there's a lot of movement in the ferns and the trees here. That was deliberate on my part. I wanted to create a longer exposure so that we've got this contrast between the stones, which are very stationary, and the surrounding foliage. That again is something that we can look to enhance, so we'll probably keep the stones very sharp and rough, and we'll make the surrounding foliage quite soft. So again we'll be using the Orton effect as I showed in the previous series of videos, but we're going to be using it selectively on areas that I want to appear soft. The rest of the image will be made to appear quite sharp and contrasty. The final thing I'll probably do is look to introduce some sort of vignette around the outside of the image. I won't want that to cover the entire image, so again we'll do this selectively using masks. So a quick recap, I want to convert the image to black and white. I want to retain these bright areas, but not so bright that they blow out. I want some detail in these trees in the background. And I want to create separation between the stones in the foreground and the surrounding foliage. And the foliage will soften up using the Orton effect or something similar, whereas the stones we want to be very crisp and structured. So that's the assessment. In the next video I'm going to look at how we do the conversion using Affinity Photo. I'm Whalley, you've been watching Lenscraft. I'll see you in the next video.